Welcome to the 6th birthday release for Trinity Stamps Birthday Hop. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, so happy to see you and so happy about this new release. In today's hop video, I'm going to be using this Hey Cupcake birthday stamp set. There are coordinating dies for this, but I won't be using those today because I want my cut really close. And we are going to be doing some no-line watercoloring. And then I'll also be using the Simply Sentimental Celebrate. I love this set, so many cool sayings. So you can do celebrate, celebrating, celebration, with all kinds of different words that you can add as sub-sentiments. I'll be using this little rainbow shaker to make a rainbow, and then I'll be using this cupcake die set that will actually make a cupcake card, shaped card. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start out with some very light gray water-based ink. And I do like to use the GinaK Whisper because I find it disappears very nicely underneath my watercolors. And I'll be using my Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils to do this. So as I'm getting this stamped, and I'm going to stamp it a few times so I can see, because otherwise I can't see it. This is a hop, so I want to make sure that you hop along, and you do have a chance to win a $25 gift card, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So I want a mango cupcake. So what I'm doing is I'm just filling in with kind of heavy with the pencil, just around all of the lines. And in all the thick lines, I'm putting in thicker. And it doesn't have to be perfect, friends. And then I'm just sort of scribbling along the bottoms of the lines because the way that I'm coloring is it's darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. So once I've got that all filled in, and I do have this sped up a lot, friends, a lot, because, yeah, I'm just kind of spreading the ink around. So anyway, as I color, you have a chance to win a $25 gift card to Trinity Stamps store. So the hop ends on June 28th at 11:59 Pacific, and winners will be announced on the Trinity Stamps Instagram and Facebook page a few days later. The release is live, so happy shopping, and I'll have links down below to what I used here today. In order to participate, you have to like the video, and you can do it on each video. You have to like the video, you have to subscribe, and you have to leave a comment. That's all you have to do. So there's no forms to fill out or anything. And I just wanted you to take note of these little spots on the top part of the cupcakes wrapper stamp, because that's where your food's going to go. That's where the cake goes. And so you'll want to color that as well. And so I'll go ahead and stamp out the little cupcake wrapper. And I don't need this to be perfect. I want it to look artsy. So, you know, if you want perfect, you can absolutely get perfect and color it with, you know, alcohol markers, ink blend it. Do you. Definitely do you. So I'm coming back in with that Whisper ink again. And just making sure I get the whole thing covered. And did you notice how well that disappeared? You can't see it at all. Typically I use a Simon Hurley's cookie dough, but when I was using it, I was finding on a cooler color, it was bringing in a little bit of warmth. And so this one is real super neutral. So it doesn't do that. And okay, let's go ahead and pull this out, and I'm going to do basically the same thing, and I'm going to speed it up. I'm just basically outlining everything, and then I will shade in, you know, lighter with scribbles with the pencil, and then paint it all in. So I love, love, love this new release. There are so many fun things. I can't wait for you guys to see it and try some of the fun things there are to do. There are a lot of releases from Linda Canasi this time, and really neat stuff. And hopefully you've already seen the sneak peeks. If you haven't, I'll definitely leave a link to Trinity Stamps channel so you can see those. And see, I'm just filling in here, and then I'll come in with and I'm just cleaning up. And just to clean up, as long as it's still wet, you can do it. I'm just kind of scribbling a tan color in here, and it doesn't have to be perfect because most of it's going to be covered. But there it is. And then Just an FYI, I fight with my gel pens clogging my number 5s. And so what I found is by using this little fountain pen and some acrylic white ink, I don't have such a battle filling in spots. So you could use a white pen or whatever, but I kind of like using this thing. So there's that. So I've got my cupcake all done. It's ready to roll. And so I'm going to go ahead and set it up on the card base so that I have everything in place. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue there to the top of my cupcake. And just to kind of hold it steady. And I'm using a kind of a movable glue. It's a PVA glue. So the only thing that's not wonderful about it is it doesn't grab right away, so you have to be careful once you get something where you want it. So now we're going to create my rainbow candy here. And all I'm going to do is just, of course, speed up again, ink blend the rainbow colors on each one of these bows, because the rainbow cuts them out all separately. And then when I get them all colored the way I want, then I'll put them together on a piece of just copy paper so I can cut them out, and I'll show you. But I'm going to do something extra with these, and that is, you can see I got a little orange there. It's not a big deal because that part will be cut off anyway. I like to make candy, and I'm going to show you how I make my candy once I get these all colored in. So I think I'm coming in here with some blue skies. So using all Simon Hurley inks, and then Crown Me. So I use Prom Queen, Roar, Shooting Star, Overzealous, Blue Skies, and Crown Me. So I'm going to show you what I do here. I make a white line in the center, and it does not have to be perfect. And I'll probably have to go over this a couple of times, even though this is acrylic ink. It's such a thin line that it likes to disappear because my ink is still a little bit damp. If your ink's totally dry, you won't have that issue. But you can see I've made the white lines. I've done the rest off camera, so it already looks dimensional. So I'm going to take another step here, and I'm going to grab, this is a Carbothello. It's a pastel pencil, and my blending stump. And I'm just going to draw along the edge carefully, but that's why you see the eraser there, because this stuff will erase as long as the ink you're working on is dry. So I'm going to go along the edge, and then I'm going to smear it out using my fat blending stump. And what that's going to do is it's just going to give that illusion of shape again. So suddenly our flat little rainbow piece looks like a little, I don't know, like a little tube of candy. Let's see, what kind of candy would be shaped like that? I don't know, maybe a lollipop? Yeah, maybe. So I'm just carefully going on the edges, and I'm only going to do one on camera. I'll do the rest off camera and put it together so that, you know, you don't have to sit here and watch paint dry, so to speak. So you can see I've just spread that out, and then any place where I kind of went a little crazy with it, I'll just erase. And there we've got kind of a dimensional looking line, and there they are all put together, and I'm just going to trim them off of that copy paper. And super easy cut, well, for some people. I don't know why I struggle with cutting close to things. I end up, you know, cutting more than I should. But yeah, that's okay, we got it, we're good. Just snip those little extra pieces off, and on the bottom side I can kind of undercut a little bit. The top side was glued down too much, so you have to think about that when you're gluing them. So there's our rainbow piece, our little piece of candy, and that's going to go here on the cupcake. And so I'm going to just flip the whole thing over and take a pencil and just draw a line around, and then I'll cut that part off so that my rainbow appears to be wrapping around the cupcake. That's the look I'm going for anyway. We'll see. And you could take and use that other part for the inside of the card or whatever, but yeah, I like the way that's fitting. And the bottom part of the rainbow is mostly going to be covered. I'm just going to trim off that little extra white piece of paper there. And then I'm going to take a my ink blender that already has some black soot ink on it. That's kind of a my little standard, and I'm just going to shade all around it so that it does appear that it's turning, kind of ish, you know, best I can. And I'm just going to maybe trim off that little edge there, not too much, just a little bit. I'll just kind of draw a little line of where I think it should be, and that'll be close enough. That's the pitfall of putting the frosting on top first. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's trim that little edge off. There we go. And add my little shading in there and glue that down. And we're just about done with this card. But we do need a sentiment, and we need to put it onto the card base. So I'm just using my wet liquid glue again to kind of stick this down. And I want it to stick out just slightly over the edge, like, I don't know, a fly's eyelash. Alright, so there we have it glued down to the card base, and now we're going to do our sentiments. So I'm going to take the large Celebrate, and I want to do Celebrate Love. And because, yeah, I don't know. There's lots of things to celebrate, including Trinity Stamps' 6th birthday. By the way, happy birthday, Trinity Stamps. You guys have been rocking it for 6 years, and thanks to our viewers, that's why. So I'm going to stamp this out in some VersaFine Clear, but I'm going to first use my anti-static powder tool because I'm still going to heat emboss it. I'm just going to emboss over the VersaFine Clear, and 2 reasons for that. It does give it a little bit of shine, but secondly, it keeps me from smearing it because that's what I do. Because the VersaFine Clear is a very wet ink, and it takes a minute to dry, and I don't have the patience to wait. I do, but yeah, typically, no. So I've just got my clear embossing powder in one of these little jewelry things, and I'll go ahead and heat emboss that. Try heating up your tool first. I got black ink somewhere on my hand because I see a smear on the paper. Luckily, I'm going to use the coordinating die to cut this out. So there's my Celebrate, but I want to do my Love too, and I'm going to do that on black. So I'm getting out my little piece of copy paper and some white embossing powder, and I'm going to grab my mini Misty because I don't trust myself to hand stamp something that tiny on my beautiful black paper. So again, I'm going to use my little Rabbit Hole Designs anti-static powder tool and just place my stamp on there. I'm going to be cutting it out so it doesn't really matter, but I don't want to waste a lot of my black paper. This is the expensive one, good, but it's beautiful. So I'm just doing three times. I want it nice and thick on there, but I'm not pressing hard. So I'm lightly inking, pressing lightly multiple times, and that's going to keep me from having a squishy sentiment, and especially with, you know, smaller little fonts like this. Let's go ahead and heat emboss that. Embosses beautifully. And we'll go ahead and get these cut out, and we're ready to go. So I have the Celebrate popped up on a little bit of foam tape. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue too, so I have a little wiggle room to make sure I get that on there straight. And then I'm going to glue the Love just straight down. So everything you need to know is linked down below as far as the hop goes, and the next person on the hop is linked down below. So I hope you'll join us and show everyone your love and appreciation and celebrating Trinity Stamps' 6th birthday. We really appreciate you hopping along. So last thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to need some sprinkles here, and these are the rainbow sprinkles. I just showed it on there, but I can't remember what I just showed. I'm in another room. So I'm just putting little streaks of glue where I want them, and then I'll use my little Trinity Stamps picker to pick up the little dealy bobs and stick them on. So I did a pink cupcake like this one too, and you could do any color you want. And like I said, you don't have to no line watercolor. You can stamp it in black and color it with your alcohol markers. You can ink blend over it. You can color it with I don't know, watercolor markers, whatever makes you happy. I did, by the way, stamp those out on some watercolor paper on the smooth side, because I did have to use quite a bit of water, and your normal paper is going to pill up. I need another, trying to choose colors here, struggling a little. I have kind of stiff hands, so sometimes this little work can get to them. Let's see if I can pick that one up. Okay, we're good to go. There we are. And you can do whatever you want on the inside. And here's a still photo. Thank you so much for joining our hop and for joining. Have a great day. Bye-bye.